Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all, and welcome back to YSCMR 2022. Hope you all had an eventful day so far. I would like to take this opportunity to warmly welcome Professor I.M. Dharmadasa, the second keynote speaker of the day, to the conference proceedings. Thank you very much, sir, for joining with us. And now, I would like to invite on stage Professor Lakshman Disanayake to introduce our second keynote speaker, Professor I.M. Dharmadasa. Please note that we will be playing a pre-recorded video presentation to avoid any technical difficulties, and Professor Dharmadasa will be available with us online to share a few words of encouragement afterward.
Good afternoon, everybody. I must thank YSCMR for giving me this opportunity to introduce Professor I.M. Dharmadasa. Professor I.M. Dharmadasa is an emeritus professor of physics and electronics at Sheffield Hallam University, UK. He is a product of the Department of Physics, Peradeniya, and he earned his PhD from Durham University, UK, and then he returned to Peradeniya and he served a few years at Peradeniya Physics Department as a lecturer. Then he left for UK in 1984 and he got a postdoctoral position at University College, Cardiff. And then later he moved to British Petroleum BP Solar Research Division. At BP Solar, he was involved in what is called the Apollo project for scaling up for commercialization of thin film solar cells based on cadmium sulfide and cadmium telluride. Then later, he joined the Sheffield Hallam University, UK in 1990, where he continued his academic and research career, 50 years as an academic and 40 years continuously as a solar cell researcher. His research is mainly focused on the development of the next generation of low cost and high efficiency thin film solar cells. Professor Dharmadas has published over 260 research articles in international journals. He has 6 patents and 2 books written on advances in thin film solar cells and graded bandgap multilayer solar cells. Up to now, he has successfully in supervising 30 PhDs, including few from Sri Lanka, and he has been an examiner for 32 PhD dissertations from different countries. He is a promoter of renewable energy, not only in Sri Lanka, not only in UK, but globally. He plays a key role in promoting solar energy, and he has started a project called Solar Village Project, and already in Sri Lanka there are 4 such solar village projects where completely the electricity is generated by solar panels. One is Kaduruveva, Nochiyagama, Polmudei, and Mutinagar, and Munaragala. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solar villages established through his joint efforts with donor agencies. He is an adjunct professor at NIFS, and he is a co-organizer of the Solar Asia International Conference series, where we jointly had 2 conferences already at the NIFS. And also he visits Sri Lanka every year, and he used to have discussions with political leaders, ministers in charge of our energy sector. Every time he visits Sri Lanka, he has to meet a different energy minister. Anyway, so he is contributing his knowledge and expertise for the benefit of Sri Lanka. And today he is going to present his keynote address on the importance of renewable energy. So I will thank him, Professor Dharmadas, for accepting our invitation at a rather short notice. I will now call upon him to deliver his keynote address. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you for inviting me to deliver this lecture. Title of my lecture today is Use of Readily Available Renewables in Sri Lanka to Solve the Energy Crisis in the Country. My name is Dharmadasa. During this presentation, I like to briefly mention about the current energy use in Sri Lanka and then solutions for cooking, transport, and energy production. I also want to mention about the Solar Village project and also about the scientific research on next generation solar cells for young researchers. Let us look at how we use cooking with imported fossil gas. This is the gas we use. We are addicted to it. It's a mixture of propane and butane. The advantages are it is clean, less carbon soot, and convenient. But the disadvantages are huge import bill for the country, price is going up continuously, world is working to get away from fossil fuels, hence not affordable and not available in the future. And when we don't have it, these are the problems created within the country, and I don't have to describe it. Transportation with imported petroleum. This is where we go to fill our tanks of our vehicles. We are using petrol and diesel. Again, the disadvantages are very similar, and it creates real problems when not available within the country. Energy production with imported coal. We are also addicted to coal. We import coal and burn it to produce energy, polluting the atmosphere, and these are the disadvantages. It creates real problems when not available. It creates health issues due to pollution. And this is what happens when things break down. Crisis in Sri Lanka. This is due to two reasons. One reason is we depend on energy production based on imported fossil. That is one thing. So we have to move towards indigenous renewable energy sources. The second one is the corruption within the country. Because of the corruption within the country, we don't have dollars, so we can't import it. So the crisis is mainly because of the two, so we have to do both. Minimize corruption and stop importing them, start to use renewable energy sources, indigenous energy sources. What are the solutions then? Solutions for cooking using biomass. We don't have to go back to the traditional methods of cooking with firewood, but we have, the entrepreneurs have made new cookers, efficient cookers. Can you see different cookers here? And these are different cookers made available within the country. This is called a rocket cooker, and there are two cylinders. Inside cylinder has holes on the wall, and when you put there and burn the firewood, and convection current goes up, and the heat goes upwards and heat the vessel. So what we have to do is use wood freely available in villages, but in towns it is low cost, wood or wood charcoal, and do our cooking. And this way it will be low cost and indigenous technology. So that way we can reduce the importing gas. So we have a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs in the country to produce new cookers and wood charcoal, more business for people, and reduce gas import bills. Another solution for cooking is biogas. Biogas is not new in Sri Lanka. We have the knowledge and experience within the country. People have been using for 10, 15 years. And some companies have made these systems. What we need to do is, when companies make this, they should produce in millions with CSR. corporate social responsibility rather than simply focusing on pure profits. And then we have to replicate it. We have to pass it to every house so that we can use biogas for cooking. It's a huge potential for commercialization throughout the country for an affordable price. So, ideal opportunity for entrepreneurs in the country. More business for people, reduce gas queues, and reduce gas import bill of the country. Young researchers should create new companies. Number 3, cooking with advanced solar cookers. Most advanced solar ovens are here. There are 2 types here. They both does the same thing. Here we have a lens and a reflector. Here we have a glass and a reflector. What it does is it refracts light into the box, and this one reflects light into the box, and it heats up inside. It's like global warming. Light goes in and trapped inside, and the temperature goes up to about 175 degrees centigrade. My suggestion is our young researchers make one and practice it. Check the temperature inside. And if it goes up to 175, we can cook our food easily because water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. So young entrepreneurs have a lot of opportunities to develop solar cookers in Sri Lanka. Millions of solar cookers are used around the globe. So why not in Sri Lanka? Please watch this video. It shows how to make this. And then once you make it, once you are confident, replicate it, scale it up, and sell it within the country so we can use it for cooking. So, briefly, for cooking, we can use biomass, biogas, and solar cookers. So, if we use these 3 kind of technology for cooking, we can stop buying imported gas. So we can say buy to gas queues. Let us look at transport. In the short term and medium term, we can try to reduce import petrol and diesel by locally producing biodiesel and bioethanol. Remember, in Brazil, 35% of ethanol produced from sugarcane, and they are used to mix with petrol. We can do the same thing. In villages in Sri Lanka, people produce kasippu, that is ethanol. And instead of drinking this, we can use them to mix with petrol, and by doing that, we can reduce petrol and diesel. Introduce electric vehicles as soon as possible and charge with renewables. No point of charging from the national grid because the energy comes from burning coal. Convert vehicles with combustion engines to electric vehicles. This is a very good business for young researchers. I have seen some people have converted 3-wheelers from combustion engine to electric vehicles. Right? With a smaller car first. If it works well, with that experience, go for a large car. And that's good business. We need it urgently within the country. Some countries in Europe wants to convert to electric vehicles within 3 years by 2025. UK policy is to convert vehicles into electric vehicles by 2030. That is in 8 years' time. Sri Lanka may take a little bit longer, but young people, researchers, enthusiastic people can convert vehicles with combustion engines to electric vehicles to accelerate it. Start doing business in charging stations with renewables. Instead of filling stations, we need charging stations. There are so many different kinds of charging. You need to learn how to charge these vehicles. And one way is simply go to a charging station, take the old battery and replace with a fully charged new battery, go within 5 to 10 minutes. Start new business in servicing electric vehicles. We need to train new technicians with knowledge to service these electric vehicles. So these are all new businesses with renewables. What about long term? Start fuel cell research. I'm sure there may be some universities working on fuel cell. We need to learn about it, build the capacity, and these fuel cells will power electric vehicles with hydrogen. And also we need hydrogen in the future. Research on green hydrogen production using freely available solar and wind to split freely available water so that we can have hydrogen. Hydrogen will be the future energy carrier. The whole world is moving to go from carbon economy to carbon neutral economy. The world is decarbonizing now. But we don't stop there. We go from carbon neutral economy to hydrogen economy. Solutions for energy production. Let us look at the short term. In the short term, use a technology mix for energy production. I have divided these into two groups, Group A and Group B. Group A is in amber, so gradually we should reduce this. Group B is in green, gradually we should increase it. So we have to continue to use coal, oil and gas to give us a breathing time until we bring enough renewables to the country. And then rapidly introduce all these renewable energy sources and accelerate their use. You also have to do research and add other indigenous renewables to Group B. Example, wave energy and tidal energy. I must say that nuclear energy is not an option for Sri Lanka. It's not a clean energy source. If we need, we can discuss in the discussion session. In the medium term, produce green hydrogen by electrolyzing water using solar and wind. Continues to do that. Use hydrogen gas to run fuel cell powered e-vehicles and burn to produce energy when required. So gradually reduce imported fossil fuels to the country. That is what we need to do. We have to gradually reduce this, gradually increase this. In the long term, completely reduce imported fossil fuels to the country. Don't depend on imported fossil fuels. That is the problem. Power the country by renewables. They are indigenous. They are our own energy sources, and establish hydrogen economy. That is where we are moving. So country can become a renewable energy island. Let me spend few minutes on solar village project. This project is for sustainable development and reduction of poverty in needy communities. To empower a community, we establish a wealth creation method for a community and guide them for rapid development. If you look at these photos, they were taken from existing solar villages. This one is a solar roof in Noche village. This one is the solar roof in Monaragala solar village on a school, and they are connected to the national grid according to Net Plus scheme, and they get a check every quarter from the CEB. So that is the wealth creation stage. In this case, it is a solar water pumping system. The people pay their water bills to bank account. In the past, they were using all that money to buy imported diesel for the engine. But now, those funds are accumulated and exist within the community so that they can use. That is the wealth creation stage. And once we have that wealth creation stage, we introduce other development projects via VDC. VDC is Village Development Committee with full transparency. You know what it means? That means without corruption. If you have corruption, no community will develop or no country will develop. That is our main problem in Sri Lanka. We have to minimize corruption. 5 villages have been established in Sri Lanka with about 1,000 inhabitants in each village cluster. So in one village, we help about 1,000 people. The growing and revolving income generated is used to develop the nursery, the school, and the library. That is what we do. Some villages use these funds for microcredit loans, enhancing their development and income. In fact, in this Nochia village, they use these funds, pump water. In fact, they have a purification system, water purification system. They sell this purified water to 7 surrounding villages. That way, they increase their income. In fact, I was so happy to hear that they have accumulated about 60 lakhs of Sri Lankan rupees in their account now by doing this. This project fulfills 13 out of 17 UN SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and ABSL has recently opened a GoFundMe platform. When you are free, please visit this link. You can read all about the project, what is happening now, and each 5,000 pound raised allow us to establish a new solar village in Sri Lanka. I don't believe that we should give people the things freely to people. That can be a disadvantage. What we do is we use this seed money to establish a wealth creation system. We empower them to develop themselves. In fact, what we do is we plant the seed of the solar village, and then we ask BDC to expand and develop it to a very large solar village. So we are expecting generous donations from expatriate Sri Lankans. It doesn't matter however small is the donation. Whatever donated is highly valued and appreciated by our charity, APSL UK. Let me tell you a few things about the research, scientific research. I have been lecturing over 5 decades in universities and researching over 4 decades on solar energy conversion. My research was mainly on electronic materials and devices, mainly focusing on solar cells. When I act as an editor of 3 journals, what I see is a lot of papers are coming, they do something, write something, and 2 things are missing in these papers. The authors do not read the literature properly. They don't learn from the literature. Before you do any project, do a literature search, learn about it, and then do something to add new knowledge. And also in these papers, they do things, trial and error perhaps, write something, they show that this is our results, that's it. No thinking part. So what I have done is, my main subject is cadmium telluride based solar cells. I have written a review article. This is the topic, how to achieve efficiencies beyond 22.1% for cattle based thin film solar cells. This is the highest recorded value today. I have given all these hints in this paper. Please make sure to read the following review paper. This paper, if you are involved in this research, and these 2 papers are available with Professor Lakshman Disanayake and Dr. Dasanayake in Physics Department in Peradeniya. So let me summarize. In order to solve the energy crisis in the country, there are two things we need to do. I'm sorry to repeat this. Minimize the importation of fossil fuel to the country. That is the main problem. We should find our own energy technologies, our indigenous energy technologies. They are renewables. So we have to go for renewables. The other thing is, obviously, minimize the corruption within the country. Because of that, we don't have dollars to import them. So those are the two things we have to do. So by looking at this, we have to use biomass with new cookers, biogas, and solar cookers to provide cooking facilities within the country. And then we can remove those gas queues, unnecessary gas queues. Coming to transportation, rapidly move towards e-vehicles powered by renewables and fuel cells operated with green hydrogen for transportation. These are our own energy sources, and we are trying to stop importation of fossil fuel. In energy generation, use an energy mix. Fossil fuel in amber, that means we have to slowly take it down, and renewables all in green. So what we have to do is accelerate the use of these and gradually reduce this. So that way we can reduce this crisis. As I said before, nuclear energy is not an option for Sri Lanka. While continuing your research, if you are engaged in research, engage in public awareness activities. It's very important. No point of doing work in the lab. Publishing a paper, it is good for you. For your promotions is good. But you must take that knowledge to the general public. That is why we have started Solar Asia and Solar Africa conference series. There are numerous opportunities for young researchers to create new business and start new companies within the country using readily available renewables. We have enough renewables. Sri Lanka is blessed with renewables. This is the list, and we should go for these, reducing the imported fossils. At this stage, let me say good luck to you all. And this is my thank you slide. What I need to say here is, this is our sun. Harvest the sun by using renewables. To save the planet, this is our beautiful planet. Help the poor and secure our future. Young scientists have a great opportunity to contribute to this noble effort. Thank you.
Now I invite Professor Dharmadasa to speak a few words of encouragement to us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for inviting me. My main message is to get out of this crisis. There are two things to do. Young researchers can actively get involved with research projects highly relevant to the development of the country. Not blue sky research at this moment. I think during this presentation, I presented a lot of practical projects. Please get involved and contribute. Your contribution is highly valued. The second thing, as I mentioned before, be aware of the corruption within the country. When I visited Maldives Islands, I saw everywhere the board saying corruption spreads like a virus unless you stop it. So that means we all have the responsibility. We should all try to stop that as soon as we face it. And as soon as we get rid of corruption, the country will develop. So, what I have to do is at this stage, wish you good luck and all the best. And if you have any questions, I can answer to them within a minute or so. Thank you. If there are any questions, please please come forward. I will be happy to answer. If not, let me comment on what I said. Nuclear energy is not an option for Sri Lanka. The main reason is nuclear technologies say it as a clean energy technology, carbon dioxide, no carbon dioxide emission. True. During the power production, no carbon dioxide emission. But what about the nuclear uranium mining and purification? Carbon dioxide emits. To build and commission a nuclear power plant, it takes 10 years. Concrete and metal, lot of carbon dioxide emission. What about the decommissioning? I am very familiar with the Sellafield nuclear plant decommissioning. It's 5 times expensive than the commissioning because everything else is nuclear. It's radioactive. It's difficult to decommission, and it takes 50 years to complete the decommissioning. So who is going to pay for that? And what about the nuclear waste? People have not solved the problem. And then think about the nuclear accidents. Nuclear accidents happen in US, Ukraine, Chernobyl, and Japan. So there are things like earthquakes and tsunamis can hit a power plant, and because of that, we should not go for nuclear accidents. If you look at Germany, uh, the German chancellor was a physicist. She knew the dangers of nuclear plants. As soon as the Japanese accident happened, she decided to close all nuclear plants in Germany. That is a very wise decision. So, nuclear energy is not an option for Sri Lanka. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Professor Dharmasa, for that very enlightening speech. Next, we will continue with the technical sessions. I would like to remind you that today's conference is held in 5 parallel sessions as biological sciences 1 and 2, chemical sciences, physical sciences, and social sciences. You can join the using the link provided in the official YSCMR website. Hope you have a productive rest of the day. Thank you.
Recording stopped.